What's up, everyone? Back for another beer review, and today is New Year's Day, so Happy New Year's to everybody out there. Hopefully you guys had a great New Year's Eve, and hopefully 2019 is a great year for you. Now for me, I thought I'd start the channel off on hopefully the right foot by kind of closing out the holiday beers that I'm going to be reviewing for this season. And the beer I'm going to be reviewing today comes from the Anchor Brewing Company out of San Francisco, California, and this is their Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, our special ale, the 2018 vintage. So this is a winter warmer, comes in at 6.9% alcohol by volume, 40 IBUs at the time of review. I have no idea how old this is because Anchor doesn't do bottle on dates. They just have a code here on the back that I didn't really care to look up, but I'd imagine this is probably at the oldest, maybe 2 months. It's relatively fresh. I just saw this come in within the last month, so yeah, probably around a couple months old. Anyway, this beer, I don't have like a storied history with it per se, but this is one of the first like winter warmers I ever tried, and I remember trying this back, and it was either early 2010 or late 2010. It was definitely in 2010, and I can't remember, what season, if it was like, the 2009, 2010 holiday season or 2010 to 2011 holiday season. Regardless, when I first tried this, this was like drinking a pine tree, right? Like this was like a beer version of a pine tree. Like it was crazy how pine forward this was. And it put me off for a couple years, but I tried it again in 2013 or 14 and I enjoyed it, but I haven't drank it since then. Unlike the Great Lakes Christmas Ale or the Sierra Nevada Celebration Ale, this isn't one that I come back to every single year, and I just don't know why, but this year I thought I would give it a go. So they have been producing this since 1975. This is the 44th annual edition of this beer. And their illustrator, Jim Stitt, he has actually been the guy who each year does the label for this beer. So every year they change the tree on the label. This year they are featuring the Korean pine tree. I don't know how well this will come off on camera, but the Korean pine tree. And they also change the recipe every single year. It is a winter warmer. They do brew it with spices. They have like a secret recipe, but they call it the ever-evolving recipe. So each year they change it up, whether it's a mild tweak or an overhaul. I don't know, but I do know that it's different each year. So that's pretty cool, I think. I think it's cool to, it's not the same beer every year, so you don't have the exact same experience. Anyway, let's get this into a glass. We have the Dogfish Head. This was like their signature glass back in the day. Might have some Dirty Glass Mafia because I haven't used this in a while, but I don't know. I guess we'll see. I guess it's not too bad. We're all right. So this has this really deep mahogany ruby red color. Yeah, really nice looking, about a finger of a light tan head. Very creamy looking, some compact bubbles, some smaller bubbles, but it's definitely creamy looking. Sticking to the side of the glass is that head. Yeah, it looks really nice. Anyway, let's get a nose on it. I don't know if you could see through the Dogfish Head logo, but yeah, it's beautiful looking. Anyway, we'll just turn around for now. Yeah, that's a big malty beast of a beer. So I don't know what spices they're using in this, but I'm almost getting like a fruitcake vibe to this one. It seems like there is a nice dark fruit component to the nose, but there's a bit of spiciness hanging around. Maybe like a cinnamon allspice thing going on. Maybe clove. Yeah, a lot of dark fruits, a lot of spiciness, little bit of that resinous pine that I talked about the first time I had this. Again, back then, hashtag baby palate. I guess I still have a baby palate. Yeah, I do. But back then it was just like pine, and more pine. Not really getting that in the nose. Yeah, if you don't like malt forward beers, I don't feel you're gonna like this one based on the nose alone. It's to the sweeter side of things, but it's not even sweet as opposed to just malty. There's a lot of like dark fruits in here, a little bit of like caramel and toffee. And that spiciness kind of rounds it out. Anyway, it smells delicious. Let's get into it. Cheers. The taste, honestly, kind of follows suit, but like dialed back about 50%. There is a nice like fruitcake vibe, like darker fruits. Yeah, darker fruits, a slight jamminess, believe it or not. But there's a lot of spiciness here. It's not as pine driven as it used to be, at least to my palate. Straight up medium body, nice for 6.9%. It has a soft smoothness to it. It's carbonated, but not overly so. It's not creamy, but it just drinks extremely well as far as the mouthfeel is concerned. But yeah, it's very malt forward. There's a lot of malt, like moving parts within the malt realm of this beer. Caramel toffee, dark fruits. There's even like a toasty malt character in there. And then you get hit with, I could not sit here, and I'm not trying to bullshit you. I can't really pick out the spices now in the taste. Best guess would be, like I said, a little bit of clove, maybe a touch of ginger. I'm not really picking up on cinnamon or allspice or nutmeg or anything like that. And I'm pretty sure they do use spices, and they do say spicy. But even if they don't use spices in this specific spices, if it's just like maybe coming from the malt or coming from the hops, that's fine. But I'm pretty sure they use spices in this one. Most winter warmers do. I forgot to look that up, but whatever. We'll survive. I wouldn't say this for me is an absolutely delicious beer, but it's a tasty beer. And I'm kind of disappointed I haven't picked up the last 3 or 4 vintages of this, because this is actually drinking extremely well considering the weather outside, considering the actual season. So yeah, the 2018 Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, our special ale from Anchor. I am actually going to give this a straight 4 out of 5. I thought I was probably not going to dig it as much just based on my memory of the beer. But, you know, I love malt forward beers, and this has it in spades. And if you are a fan of malt forward beers and you like a little bit of spice in your life, then I would say pick this up. I think I paid like $2 for it. So, you know, value is there, and it should be readily available wherever Anchor is sold, which is in a lot of different states. So anyway, that's a 4 out of 5 for the 2018 vintage of basically Anchor's Christmas ale. Appreciate you guys stopping by. Hopefully this year is great for everybody, myself included. And until the next one, cheers.